Yo, what's up with it, boxing fans? All right, so listen, it's the day after. Most likely what most people would call a disaster as far as boxing goes, especially on this level. And I myself, I share that opinion slightly, but I'm going to go a different route here. Look, I understand the nature of boxing fans, including myself. We're very critical of the boxers we don't like, and especially the boxers we like. And we honestly expect their performance to be high level every time we see them in the ring. And most of the times this is true. There are times when, things don't work out or the fighter, for whatever reason, doesn't provide what we think we need to see. I mean, you got to understand, Jermell Charlo versus Canelo. That was a major underperformance from Charlo. As we all know, he normally fights at a higher level, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. And then we had the Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. Basically the same thing. We expected a certain thing from Tyson Fury, and he didn't deliver. And from that point on, things are doomed as far as the way boxing fans look at it. And then we have Shakur Stevenson versus Mr. Edwin De Los Santos. And I got to tell you, my expectations were high on this fight being a very high caliber fight, okay? From the way I looked at it, we had two high-level tacticians in the ring, and I expected to see some impressive fireworks, for lack of better terms, from both parties, but especially from Shakur Stevenson. So what really happened? We can guess, we can come up with theories, you know what I'm saying? But the real deal is no one can perform on the same level every time. And I believe this was the first time Shakur Stevenson had a very poor performance. There were some claims or Shakur alluded to certain things, he alluded to a injured hand without actually saying his hand was injured. But now that we can look at the fight, he didn't use that left hand much. Who knows? But I watched him warm up in his dressing room, and he used it on the mitts. Don't get me wrong, hitting mitts and hitting an object, such as a human being, are two different things. But I'm just saying, I might be 50-50 on the injured hand thing. He also claimed he didn't feel well. And I got to tell you, we've all been there before. But when it comes to boxing, okay, the day of the fight, the evening of the fight, hours before you fight, you got to be feeling good. And anything that's going to affect you, bad feelings, ill, sickness, might have a very bad effect in the ring. But let's throw all that nonsense out the window real quick and discuss the fight. Thursday night. I think our brains are used to fights at this level being conducted on Saturday evenings and things of that nature, you know what I'm saying? But here we are, a Thursday night, watching a championship fight for a vacated belt. I think we expected big fireworks also, and Powell's impacts, maybe a knockdown, who knows? But it didn't work out the way it is, and most boxing fans are let down. Some have now just basically discontinued their like for Shakur Stevenson. No one can perform the same every time. You got to keep that in mind. All right, so let's talk. I could have not guessed in a million years this fight would turn out the way it did. All right? To me, it was a jab fest. And that's all it was. Because you got to know, there was not many punches thrown, not many combos thrown and landed, and both jabs seemed to be the dominant factor in the fight. Now let me start with Mr. Edwin for a second. I mean, he tried his best, but sometimes our best is not good enough. And what I mean by he tried his best, he actually attempted to bring the fight to Shakur. But at the same time, it looked like he didn't want to totally expose himself going all out to try to get Shakur and then getting caught. You got to understand, this is high level boxing. Not fighting, but boxing. So on the aggressive side of things, bringing the fight to the ring, I would have to give that to Edwin. Yes. On the other hand, we have Shakur Stevenson, and I'm going to tell you the truth. Maybe it was due to the fact that Shakur had a real dangerous, potentially dangerous, tactically skilled opponent in front of him. Shakur was, for lack of better terms, extremely, and I do mean extremely, avoiding any kind of exchange and fight with Mr. Edwin. So I hate to use the term running, but there comes a point in time when it's quite obviously somebody's not looking to engage in avoiding, and that burden goes upon Shakur Stevenson in this fight. He had his exit plans all set up and nice, just like when we're in the third grade and, you know, they practice the earthquake drills, the fire drills, and so forth, because De Los Santos could not catch him. You know, a lot of people would say Edwin should have cut off the ring. And I'm going to tell you the truth. With the nifty footwork of Shakur Stevenson and his ability to drop back 2 steps quickly, there's no cutting off the ring on that shit at all, you know? And I'm not saying 100%, but in order to cut off the ring, the opponent that is being evasive must have some side-to-side, side lateral motions and movement for the other opponent to cut off the ring, as in prevent him from going that direction to the left or right. But Shakur was not attempting to exit left or right. He was shooting straight back, 2 steps, bang, he's gone. And, you know, you can't do nothing much about that from my point of view, but abort your mission and try to chase him down, or forever chase him down and look silly. And I think that's the route De Los Santos took. He didn't want to look silly. He didn't want to get caught. So, you know, a lot of times he aborted his pursuit once Shakur Stevenson cleared the scene. Moving right along, though, I mean, there were some records broken, I believe, according to punch stats and all that. There's some very low numbers in a fight of this nature, and that's got to be a new record, considering, you know, the nature of these guys. They're sharpshooters. I'm not saying they're going to throw a million punches, but they throw nice, crisp jabs and beautiful combos to follow that jab. Anyway, not much time wasted narrating this with video. It wasn't much to see. From the consensus out there, I'm sure no one fell asleep, but, you know, we saw Kambosos pretending to be snoozing on the couch whilst watching the fight. I don't think no one fell asleep. It was a sleeper, but no one fell asleep, because until the last bell, there's a chance of fireworks or something could happen on this rather boring, long fight. So what's going to happen now? I tell you what's going to happen now. Shakur is going to take some nice little vacation time, as he alluded to. He said he's been in the gym too much and he needs to rest up, especially if that hand is injured or a problem. But when he gets back in the gym, okay, a couple things going to happen. Shakur is going to have to erase the memory of this fight from her memories by a double excellent performance next time out.